Hi, I'm Dr. John Suroder here in Wilton, Connecticut. Today, I'd like to discuss the importance of a proper diagnosis. Too often, a patient will come to me with what was previously diagnosed as a condition A, only to find out after 3 minutes with me that it has nothing to do with condition A at all, and it turns out to be condition B. The problem with believing it was condition A was that condition A was A, not their diagnosis. Maybe at some point it looked like it could be that diagnosis, but with further imaging studies and MRIs and further information and paying attention to what the patient is saying and taking a really good history and asking good questions and listening to your patient, it turns out that it wasn't diagnosis A, it was diagnosis B. I'm going to give you an example of a patient who came in with a cane, and he was diagnosed with a knee injury. And the doctor, the orthopedist in this case, wanted to send him for an MRI, and he was all set to get the MRI. And this is only going on for about 3 months. The history of this patient was that he's from Brazil, and he was in his country, and he was walking on a beach, and when he got back on the airplane to come back home after about 2 weeks, he started to notice that there was pain on the insides of his knee. So if this is your kneecap, it would be on the insides. If this was the left kneecap, it would be on the inside. And he had pain on his left knee. It was on the medial side, the inside of his knee. He also had some problems squatting down. He felt like his knee couldn't bend all the way, and he couldn't squat down as much on the left side. He comes in with a cane. Now, there was no history prior to that for any injuries to his knee. There was no trauma. He didn't have a fall. It was just a lot of walking. So as a chiropractor, we're trained to look at biomechanics. Well, what affects the knee? Well, from above, it could be the hip. But from below, it could be the ankle. And he was doing a lot of walking. So in my practice, when a patient comes in, we routinely check the feet, the arches of the feet, to make sure that they're even, that they're symmetrical within certain boundaries. Everybody has an asymmetry to some degree. We are not mirror images of each other. So in his case, his name was John. In John's case, his right foot had a reasonable arch. His left foot had a less than sufficient arch. So already before he left for Brazil on his vacation and walked a lot on the beach, he was leaning to the side that had the lower arch, which is his left. And when you have a situation like that, you are going to cause strain on the inside of your knee because your shin will follow the lower arch and it'll internally rotate. So what this means is that if someone has a flat foot that is flatter on one foot relative to the other foot, the flatter of the 2 feet is going to have pain on that knee. So John had a problem with his left foot having a flatter arch. It caused an internal rotation, which was excessive when he walked on his knee. And it turns out that the proper diagnosis was not a problem inside the knee itself. It was in his ankle and his foot. All I did was adjust his arches, adjusted his ankles rather, and we gave him an adjustment to the mortise joint, which is the largest joint in the ankle. It made a big clunking sound. It released. And what that did was that enabled John to be able to stand up and have his shin bone return back to a normal neutral position and not get stuck in that internal rotated position that he had been accustomed to because of a lower arch on that foot for many, many, many years. Well, he walked out of the office without a cane. He was able to sit down and squat down without any problems. What's the point? The point here is twofold. Number one, you need a proper diagnosis, okay? Don't take your word for it. Don't take the word for it from an orthopedist all the time. Many times, MDs, including orthopedists and internists, routinely send you to physical therapy, and it would have done absolutely nothing for John. He didn't need the MRI, so he canceled it. And the point is here that there's A, a proper diagnosis that was missed, and B, that when you have problems, you have to look throughout the mechanical system. So his knee hurts, you can't just have blinders on and look at the knee. You have to look at the things that affect the knee. The ankle affects the knee, and the arches affect the ankle. I have an office in Wilton. I have an office in White Plains. If anybody out there is suffering from knee problems, chronic hip problems that seemingly are unable to be helped by PT, even though you've done it 3 or 4 times, and each time you went it was for 12 sessions, obviously you're not going to go back and do that again. So get a proper diagnosis. Give me a call. I'm easily found on Google, or you can reach me at 917-763-4141. You can text me, and we can set up a consultation. It's always free. My name's Dr. John Sirota. Have a great day.